Yep, we're just sending a Viking all over the map without any micro whatsoever. That worked out pretty well. So I still haven't expanded, which sucks. I would have loved to expand during that time, but I mean, where am I supposed to expand to? The 3 closest expansions have already all taken. So I'm coming out of my base, and just aim moving here until an ultra gets in range. Now I'm focus firing the ultras. Let's watch that one more time. The ultras in the back, so I have no reason to attack them because they're not doing anything to me. So I'm just letting my A move go, and then as soon as they get in range, now focus fire, 1 ultra. Focus fire, next ultra. I think that's the micro you should use, given I'm completely outnumbered here. And again, loading up my front medevac just to guarantee that I'm going to lose all those units as fast as possible. And in fact, loading up doesn't make any sense when there's hydras in the field, because it doesn't really protect them at all. Against like ultras and roaches, you can just load up your medevacs and save all your units. So I am throwing down a couple command centers, so I was smart enough to do that. Where I'm going to float these things to, I have no idea. This base, no way, it's dry. This base still in good shape, but it's kind of out of the way for me. I think I'm probably going to head up to these 2. I could probably make a planetary fortress here, and then that protects me enough to put orbital command in the back here. And I think I missed a battle. Let's see. Looks like he just poked his head in. He does see me floating though in the direction, so I guess he has a slight idea what I'm doing. This is another thing you can do. Since I was so ridiculously oversaturated here, like I have no minerals left in this base, so basically I got 54 harvesters on 1 set of minerals. That's complete overkill, so even though distance mining is terrible, it's still better than having SCVs just doing nothing, waiting for mineral patches. So I took about half of them and started to distance mine with them. So it's better than nothing, I think. Of course, you do have to keep an eye on them, make sure they don't all get picked off. My scouting factory has picked up this hatchery here, and the fact that I got these Zelnagas, I've spotted this hatchery as well. So I've seen his next 2 attempts. So I just send out a couple Marauders to take this out. Marauders are good at taking down buildings because of their armored attack. And at the same time sending out 3 medevacs to go hit this expansion. I don't want to overcommit my entire force to killing it because it's so far away from my main base, it leaves them like the opportunity to go just flooding in my front door and ending the game. Looks like he decides not to come in for the attack. I can see this entire forest, luckily, because of this, so I'm not going to run to my death. And you can see I'm at 3-2 upgrades here, and we'll check out his upgrades. Looks like 1 armor upgrade on the Ultralisk, plus that special Ultralisk plus 2 armor. And Hydras are at 1-1. I think a couple Zerglings got in here, so since I had no units near, I decided just to make a fortress. And looks like he's coming with his entire force up top. Yeah, wow, that went down fast. Fortunately, I'm not microing any of this. This is going to be a lot of dead SCVs. That really sucks. But took out his only mining expansion, so I think I returned the damage. So as long as I don't lose this, I don't mind losing all of that. Oh, I did a little bit of micro. I actually hit a few SCVs to keep them alive. Looks like that random Marauder I left behind actually paid for itself. So I have broken all the way into his base now. Now I can take out his hive and all his tech buildings. 2 infestor pits. That's probably a mistake. At the same time, let's back that up a touch. He is coming into my base. I got a lot of Marauders there, so that's the end of that Ultra. And yeah, I got a little bit of repairing going on. And my 3-3 units. That is good game. And that is right, upgraded MMM. Mad respect to Panzer to understanding why he lost the game instead of just saying, Terran Imba. So yeah, definitely an interesting game. I think Panzer had this game wrapped up. I think he did the proper response to my fast expand build, which I've always said is the best response. Terran is the worst race at building up their economy. So if I go for an economic build, as long as you respond with your own economic build, you should be ahead. And that's exactly what he did. He had 3 fully mining bases, and he was taking his 4th and his 5th, and still had the army to massacre my army with a pretty sweet fungal growth. Didn't really have the Balings to follow up, but still the fungal growth is solid on its own, just for the AoE damage. But yeah, I think he only had the 1 evolution chamber, and when you're going for a gigantic ground army, at least 2 evolution chambers, and honestly, why not get 3? I mean, really the only bottle cap to your upgrades is the time it takes to upgrade, not the cost. So if you have 3 different things you gotta upgrade for your ground, you may as well get 3 different evolution chambers to do all 3 at once. Same for Protoss with forges if you want to get the shield upgrades, although shields aren't as important if you're facing EMP. Although shields do regenerate themselves, so in a way they're kind of more important than hit points, depending on how you look at it. Lost my train of thought there. Yeah, so I think those are his 2 gigantic mistakes. Like, 'cause he basically had the game once he held me off here. If he just sat back and kept upgrading and pulling up his army, I would have never been able to match his army size just because of the amount of money he was bringing in. Yeah, so the fact that he wasn't upgraded, the fact that he threw away a significant amount of his force at my front line, which is a kind of understandable. I mean, you blow away my army, you think, okay, let's just end the game, let's go in and end it, and that didn't turn out well for him. That did buy me a small window, and I think I took advantage of that window. I immediately loaded up my medevacs, smashed this expansion, then hit his other high yield from both the left side and the right side. And I think that got me back in the game, more or less. And then once I was back in the game, my upgrades were what made the difference. And also, I still say Fungal and Baling is better than Ultras. Ultras, they work well. I'm not taking anything away from Ultras. You can win the game with Ultras versus Violet Wall. Especially with Hydras behind. I think that's a good mix, because I need Marines to beat Hydras, I need Marauders to beat Ultras, so I can't really overload one over the other to, like, if I'm, like before when I was up against Ultras and Roaches, I could just go tons and tons and tons of Marauders, because Marauders kill both of them. But with Hydras behind, I have to maintain my mix. And that does fine, but I still, yeah, Fungling, that's the one that kills me. Especially from a good player, and this guy with 117 APM average, probably a good player. Alright, so enough of this babbling. I'm going to end this replay here, and thanks everyone. Bye.